Hightower comes walking right down here.
One point where they're shooting in this direction.
Well, I have to tell you, that's the one that I've never seen filmed before. And I've gone down every alleyway here and starts humping his leg. It happens literally right here where I'm standing. Now they set up the room, well, I'll tell you about it inside, but it's shot from this angle. I'm just heading into Toronto, Ontario, Canada today to check out the filming locations of one of my all-time favorite movies, Police Academy. I am going to show you filming locations I have never seen anyone film before. If they have, I've never seen it. And one of them was next to impossible for me to find. So you do not want to miss today. Come with me, we're heading into Toronto, and we are going to go check out the filming locations of Police Academy 40 years later. Let's go. I'm starting right here. It looks like a regular plaza. There's a No Frills behind me, which is like a big Canadian grocery chain. And this was shown at the start of the movie. So if you remember at the start, Leslie Barbara is working in the photo mat. If you look at the wall, you'll see that wall, it was a different color, and that first door. That's on each side of the photo mat. So the photo mat is standing right here in front of us. Now the lines on the parking lot are painted different, but it's standing right here. So right where I'm standing, Leslie Barbara is working in a photo mat. The bullies pull up. This is right near the start of Police Academy, and they tip over the photo mat. And where do they take them? They drive them to a bridge and they throw them off a bridge. What do you see in the background? You see that apartment building. That hasn't changed. Now, that Cal Tire, that was a Goodyear. But that building's there, that apartment building's there, and right here is where the truck pulls up, pushes over the photo booth, and Leslie Barbara swears as they push him off the bridge, he is going to join the police force. So this is a start. Now come with me today. I'm taking you all the way through Toronto. We're going to go to that bridge next. I'm going to show you where they threw Leslie Barbara off the bridge, and we're going to go check out some other filming sites. So let's go check it out. Check out that Toronto skyline. Can you see it behind me? But we're at another Police Academy filming location. Do you remember when they take Leslie Barbara in the photo mat? Well, where do they take him? They take him to a bridge, and they throw him off the side of a bridge. It's right here. I'm on the Cherry Street Bridge. Now, they take him right here. You see it. The truck stops, and what do? Put him right over the side of the bridge.
I don't think I'm supposed to get close with.
Now, he goes underneath the bridge, comes out the other side.
It's no secret. Everybody knows. I'm joining the police force. Ah! What do you think of that? Ah!
It's right here. This is the site where they took Leslie Barbara and threw him off the bridge. Now, I'd like to go over and show you the other side, but they're doing tons of construction. They're redeveloping this whole land, this whole property down here. But this is the bridge right here. So cool to see this many years later that a lot of these locations, although many look different, some still look the same. Pretty cool to see that. Let's move on to another site. Alrighty guys, now do you remember Fackler in the movie? His wife did not want him to join the police academy. He was joining the police academy. He's got a station wagon in the driveway. She comes running out of the house. She jumps on the station wagon, the hubcap comes off. Well, the house is right over here, and the house looks absolutely nothing like it did with the movie, and nothing like it did even 5 years ago. So I was debating on whether to show it, but I also like to show things like this because it shows what's there now. It's right down here. Now the houses all around that house are identical to they were back then. So if you look at this house, They are identical. And in the movie, whatever you get a glimpse of, even those houses, that house is the same. But Fackler's house was right here. And you can see the 81 on the door, but look at it now. That is where Fackler's house was. You can see that house is new. That's a newer style house. But in the movie, you see 81 on there. And like I said, I'll show you street view, because even up to like 4 or 5 years ago, it still looked the same, but this was just redone and this whole new house was put there. But this is where he backs out. He backs out right here, and he takes off driving right down this street. But very modern house. So many things in Toronto change all the time. You see all these new houses where old houses used to be, but the land, I guess, is what's worth the money. So anyway, we're going to move on to another site. Let's go. Alrighty guys, another police academy site that I have to show you is where the parking lot was, where Mahoney was working in the parking lot, parking cars, and you see something very noticeable in the background. Let me show it to you. It's right there. That's Roy Thompson Hall. Now we are standing, it's set further back where the parking lot is, so it's right here where this glass building is. This glass building is where the parking lot was, because you see Roy Thompson Hall in the background, and the reason you know it's shot from this angle is because you see that, I don't know if you can see it, let me come over here. You see that church. That church in the background, I'll come up to the corner, is the exact same. So that church, you see that in the movie, and I'll put the screenshot on, and you see Roy Thompson Hall. It's absolutely crazy for parking down here. This is a busy area in Toronto, but that's Roy Thompson Hall through the trees. And right here, where I'm walking, this was all parking lots. And this is where Mahoney parked the car, and of course on its side. And Roy Thompson Hall has been seen in tons of movies, but it's shot from this angle. And of course, like in Toronto, everything's always redeveloped, and this is now a building. But that church right there is pretty clear in the movie in the background. Right there. Alrighty guys, let's move on to another site. Check this out. We are right at the police academy. Now, this is the view you get at the start of this circle. You see a car coming around here, and the police academy sign is right there. Right at that corner. You see some white like barricades and the police academy sign right there, and that tree is still there. It's a lot larger today, but that's it right there. And then right ahead, those were the offices. And then I'll show you where the barracks are, but let's go check it out. Straight ahead is the main building. Now that's where Commandant Lessard's office was. That's where they're looking out over the front, and all the recruits are coming right in here. The way they're all coming up, and you see them come right up into this roundabout. And Lessard's office was right up there, and he's looking out over this. The police academy. Very, very neat.
Hey, Gary. We should be pals, George. You're an interesting guy.
You cadet?
I am until I can get myself thrown out of here.
Now, when they're lining up at the beginning of the shot, they're actually lined up right here, right in front of this building. And you get a shot. I'll show you the shot you get. Now this is the shot you get right here. They're all lined up right here, and you can see this building right here, and all the recruits are lined up right here. Now, as Commandant Lessard's talking to them, he's standing right here, and what happens? A dog comes up and starts humping his leg. It happens literally right here where I'm standing. This is right about in this spot. And then this is where the recruits are standing. Now, a lot of the buildings have really changed since it was a psychiatric hospital years and years ago, and since the police academy filming. Some of the buildings, the entranceways look a lot different, but these were not the actual barracks where they were staying. Now, there are shots where you see them running across, and you do see them walk across right here because you see them come toward the main building. But we're going to walk around the corner because I'm going to show you the matchup for when they're running between the barracks, what the building looks like that we can match up. Let's go check it out. Alrighty, now in one of the scenes of Police Academy, you see when, oh, what's his name? I forget his name. He's running back and forth. He's always running into the women's barracks. Well, you actually see this building, and I'll show you what you can match up from it. These side-by-side buildings, now the entrances are completely different, but this shot right here, when he runs between the barracks, there's the exact shot you get. I'll put a picture up of it with, you can see the designs under the windows, the diamonds, and the buildings next to each other. How cool is that, right? Now, as I had mentioned earlier, years ago, this was a psychiatric hospital here, and it was a perfect location for the Police Academy filming location, because this campus was, my understanding, was not being used at the time. So they were able to come, use this, and now it's a college. It belongs to Humber College. But it all takes place right here. It's an absolutely beautiful day here in Toronto. Now, do you remember Leslie Barbara comes up to Mahoney and asks where to get his uniforms? Well, does that house look familiar? Mahoney's walking right across. Leslie comes up, asks where he should go, and Mahoney sends him right in there, and then we all know what happened next. And if we don't, check it out because it's funny. But that's the house right there. Guys, we have so many more Police Academy filming sites to go to. Let's go. We are at our next site, and it's a site I've never seen filmed online before, and if it has been, I must have missed it. But we're gonna go inside the training, the gym, where they did their training and exercise on Police Academy, and it's also the room used when Commandant Lessard gives his speech. Now, they set up the room, well, I'll tell you about it inside, but this is the inside, the gym, where Police Academy, where all the recruits, they're doing their training, remember? And everybody volunteers. Well, let's go check it out.
you'll notice in the movie, these gray pipes were yellow at the time.
Oh, okay.
But what they've done is they built this out under here.
Yeah.
There's a radiator that just runs along the floor.
Okay.
And so the piping was still there, they just put them in. It's hard to imagine, but if you picture this not being there and it went straight up to that wall, that's where they built that. What you're saying is true, the second stage.
Alrighty, this is really interesting, and I never realized this before. They built a fake stage on the one side of the room. Now, what you're seeing there in this clip is the fake stage that's right here where I'm showing you now. And you can tell that because it's a lower stage. So behind her is the lower stage. Now, this is the real stage. This stage was always there. And you actually see it in the clip. Now, when she puts down Leslie Barbara and they look back for volunteers, watch behind them. There's the fake stage. Now watch when they look at the recruits. Right there. There's the real stage with the steps, and that's what you're looking at. So this scene was shot facing the other way. There's the real stage, and that's where Commandant Lessard is going to talk. On the other side of the room, they had a fake stage. Here you see Commandant Lessard walking into the room with his guests. Now, he is standing in front of the real stage, and the reason you can tell that is when it shows the audience, you can see the fake stage behind them. So there's a stage at each end of this room.
Level ones.
But this is it right here. This is the background. There's the door. There's the same windows. And this is where they did their exercise scene. And then...
I remember in the exercise scene.
Yes.
There's one point where they're shooting in this direction. It's a different door, but that door would have still been there. That was one of the ways out.
Okay. Okay.
Behind the wood, there's the... You picture a cast iron radiator.
Yes.
These windows.
Right.
And then this whole thing isn't there. It's just that back wall.
Okay.
And then they just hung a curtain where that opening was and said put some wood in front.
Right. And then that was the stage.
Yeah.
But it looks identical to when they did the movie. I mean, you see the windows, you see where the radiators were, you see the door.
It's still very much the same. It's just sort of, they slapped some drywall over it.
Yeah, they just basically dressed it up a bit.
Yep.
That's very cool. So this
is the big change.
Yes. They shot, if you look at the windows and the rads and the doors, one scene with Commandant Lessard speaking in one direction and the training scene in the same room.
Well, and basically here's what it comes down to. When you see it again.
Yes.
If you see the stage lower.
Oh, yes.
And smaller, it's not that. You know they're looking.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
The long and short of it.
Because one stage was higher and then they did the lower stage. How cool is that, right, guys? Now that's the original stage and it hasn't changed at all. And you see that behind the recruits when they're all volunteering for the training. But at the other end of the room, an exact duplicate stage is put in, smaller and lower, but there's a stage at each end of the room. And you see the fake stage behind the audience when Commandant Lessard is speaking and behind the trainer when they're in the training. I never even realized when I watched the movie there was a stage at each end of the room. But the rest of the room hasn't changed at all. The windows, the radiators, besides being covered, are exactly the same. Alrighty guys, I can't tell you how cool that was to see the assembly hall where they did their exercise and training on Police Academy, where Commandant Lessard did his speech, and to have the gentleman who works there tell me exactly what they changed, where they put up a fake stage, so both sides of the room looked almost identical, but in the movie you can see one stage is lower because that was an artificial stage. I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting to me. But anyway, let's go on to another site. Alrighty guys, I'm in another area of Toronto and I debated whether to show you this next Police Academy filming site only because the building is brand new and they rebuilt the club but they rebuilt it to the exact specifications, and I want to show it to you because in Police Academy it was the Blue Oyster. Let's go check it out. It's right there. That is the Silver Dollar Room right here. Now, as you can see, this building is all new. So the original Silver Dollar Room was torn down, but there was an agreement or some type of stipulation that they would rebuild it to the exact as it was before. And it's right there. That's the Silver Dollar Room. Now, I'll show you what it says. It talks about how it opened in 1958, but more importantly, right here you see that it was filmed. It appeared in the movies The Silent Partner, Police Academy, Adventures in Babysitting, and in the novel Kill Shot. It's right here. This was the Blue Oyster. It was filmed right here. One of the best and funniest scenes in Police Academy. Okay, I think we're losing some daylight here, so we're going to move on to another Police Academy site. Let's go check it out. Alrighty guys, we are in another area here right near the Police Academy. We're on Lakeshore Boulevard, but I have to show you where the driving lessons happen with Hightower and where he rips out the seats. Now, we're not too far from the Academy. It's right here at this building. So right where this car is parked, that's where they were parked. And this building right here is right in the back of it. Now, the brick wall between has changed a little bit, but the building hasn't. It's still white. It's right here. And the reason we know this is because of the sign. They didn't change the sign for the movie. In the movie, it said S.W. Stolarski and McDougal. And if you actually look in the chiropractic journal, this is where Stolarski, this is where his practice was. They were real chiropractors, and the signs weren't changed for the movie. So this white building right here was a chiropractic clinic of Stolarski and McDougal, and right here is where Hightower rips out the seats of the car and leaves it right here. And like I said, some of the buildings haven't changed at all, besides the signage and canopies, but you can see the structure of the buildings, they're the same. But you do see there's areas where there's an addition of a door or something's changed with a window, but it's right here. Now, after they pull out the seats of the car, they get in, Hightower's driving, goes up here, and what happens? He rear ends someone, right? Well, let's go check it out. We're gonna go, and I'm gonna show you a couple notable things from the movie. As Hightower pulls away, you notice this. You have to look very closely, but the corner of this building, you actually notice the way it comes in, that hasn't changed. You see that right in the film as he pulls away. And same thing with the vehicles next to it. Now, they have their little accident. He bumps into somebody, and I'll show you where that happens. But they get into a chase, and right here, Hightower's driving, comes around here, and you see that building in the background. That camping supply store, pretty prominent. And they actually come right around the block. Right there is where I showed you where he rips out the seats of the car, right up there. Now he comes down here, and that's the building I showed you that you can see in the background. Now, that building plays prominently. As he's coming around, that building hasn't changed at all. It's a camping supply store, and it's still there. But you want to know where he got into the accident, right? Where does he rear end the guy? It's right up here. Right there at this corner. This is where Hightower rear ends the guy. It's literally right there. And there's a few ways you can tell. Now, when you're watching the movie, you can see on the sign the no right turn. It's hard to see what the street name is, but if you look at this building right here, this bank, now the entranceway has changed, but the actual building and the windows haven't. The guy then gets out of the vehicle and goes to Hightower's. In it, you see this building, and if you count back, this building and this building, the third one back, even at the time, was some type of convenience store or lottery, a lottery shop. But it's right here. This is where he's coming up to the light. They stops, and probably right where I'm about standing is where he bumps into him. You see that building in the background, and he gets out, and you get a quick glimpse of those buildings. But it all happens in this one section of Lakeshore. Now, if you go further up Lakeshore, you will actually see there's still a McDonald's there, and you can see the McDonald's in the background when he's driving, and a few other things. But some of this is completely new, and some things like the camping store is exactly the same. But anyway, we have to go to another site. Let's go. Now, how often are you going to see the CN Tower and a cat on a chair? Well, you'll see it right here in Kensington Market. We're at another Police Academy filming site, one of my favorite scenes, and one of the scenes that I always remember as a child because my father used to take me to Kensington Market all the time. So of course I'm talking about the Riot scenes. I'm going to match up some scenes of exactly where they happened, where the riot, where he's carrying the TV, where Fackler comes out of the store. I'm going to match up some of those scenes for you today. We're going to go look around Kensington Market. Let's go check it out. Alrighty, so you see all of this in the movie. This is Kensington Avenue, but I'm going to match up a scene exactly for you right now. At one point during the riot, you can see a police officer run right across here, and he runs right down that alleyway. In the background, you see the sign. Now, you can look at the windows at the top of that sign in that building, those windows, and the building beside it. It matches up exactly. Now it said, I think it said European something. It was red with yellow writing, but I'll put a screen clip, but it happens right here. He's literally filmed running right across here, and right in the background, you see that building. But there's more, so we got to go check out more scenes. Alrighty guys, now as we walk around Kensington, I see something else that is going to be familiar. In the movie, now the sign is different for where Global Cheese is, but you see, I think it's Tackleberry, but comes right down here and you see Global Cheese. It's a different sign, but it happens right here. Alrighty, let's keep moving on and matching up more. You want to know where they're robbing that vintage store? Everybody's running out. That's straight ahead. See where it says Longboard Living right there? Yeah, that is the vintage shop where they're all robbing. I believe Fackler comes out. He's coming out wearing something. But that's it right there. And on the front of the building has changed quite a bit. But of course, you can't change addresses, right? And the address is exactly the same. And you actually see it in the movie. 202 there. But that's it right there. Okay, what about right here? There's got to be more scenes, right? Well, there is. If you look right here, it's right about here. So where we're standing right now, Hightower comes walking right down here. And one of the things that you can match up pretty clearly in there, besides the shops that are right here, look at the roof right there on that house. You can see that right behind Hightower. Now, some of these little businesses look different because they change over the years, but the structure, that house and that house, you can see clearly behind Hightower as he walks right down this street. Right here at this corner, this is in here. Now, that's where I showed you where Hightower was walking. And right here, this is in there as well. It's so alive down here. This is an area I absolutely just love in Toronto.
Oh, this is very, very, very bad. Give me this thing!
Alrighty guys, so that's Kensington Market. That's where all the riot scenes happened in Police Academy. Or, oh, wait a minute. What about the Leslie Barbara scene? When he goes down the alleyway, he sees those guys stealing a TV. Well, he thinks they're stealing a TV, and he tries to arrest them. Where is that? Where does that happen? Well, I have to tell you, that's the one that I've never seen filmed before. And I've gone down every alleyway here. I've Google Street Viewed this whole area of Toronto, and I couldn't find it because it's not here. It's not in this area. It's in a whole nother area of Toronto. So you don't have to drive over there. I'm going to drive over there, but I'm going to show you where the Leslie Barbara scene happened. And I've never seen anyone film that before. But this was Kensington Market. This is where the riot scenes happened. Let's go over and check out the Leslie Barbara scene. Let's go. We're now in a whole nother area of Toronto is the Laneway, where Leslie Barbara arrests the guys for taking the TVs, or he thinks they're stealing the TVs. It's right over here. Check this out. And we're not even near Kensington, but this is the Laneway, or the street right here. Now, in the background, you notice that it goes all the way through this street, and there's a building there, and that can be seen in the movie. Now, when I was searching all the streets, laneways near Kensington. I literally searched everywhere, and this is what I was looking for. But see how this comes through? Leslie Barbara comes right up here. Now in this in the shot, you can see right here there was green paneling on the stairs, but those are the stairs where they're stealing the TVs from, or he thinks they are. And he stands right here, and like I mentioned, this is seen in the background clearly. You can see that, but look right behind me. This doorway and right up to here, you can see these windows. And in the movie, you can even count the windows at how many there are over where Leslie Barbara is standing. This building is seen. And the truck's here and the stairs are right there. And he's standing right here. And the only difference now is that there's no green paneling on the stairs. But this building hasn't changed at all. It's exactly the same. I think if I remember correctly, in the movie, there are actually 3 windows here. See, one of the windows is bricked over now. And this is even visible in the movie. See how the brick is uneven at the edges? How it crosses over? You can see that. Pretty cool, right? It was filmed right here. Anyway, let's move on to another site. Let's go. Alrighty guys, now we're at our next site where the finale happens. The shootout, where Mahoney has to come to the rescue. Well, it takes place right here. And it's absolutely beautiful out today, but I'll show you. Now, Liberty Village here in Toronto is absolutely a beautiful area. They have markets, outdoor cafes, all kinds of things. It's absolutely beautiful down here. But it's where that hostage situation, the Mahoney shootout, it all took place. Now, some things have changed, some things look exactly the same. But the building that it actually happened on is right there. They went right up there and they were shooting off that building right there. But I'll show you a couple things that you see in the movie. Now at this corner, you actually see a street sign and you see them looking up. Now this little addition, and some of it has been redone, but that's the building right there. Right where I'm standing, right here in front of me, there was a red truck. And it was right here and you could see the front of it. Well, see the shape of that window? That hasn't changed. Mahoney is standing or crouching right here. Right here in front of the red truck. And what's he looking at? He's looking up. Well, the tree is in the way, but he's looking up at the building where everything's taking place. And at one point you see Tackleberry and Leslie Barbara standing here. So as Tackleberry and Leslie Barbara are standing here figuring it out, what's right above their head? Well, you can see right above my head. Can you see it? You see that in the movie. You see that in the movie, Hannah Avenue, and they're standing right here. And the reason you know they're standing here is because that building is seen in the background. You see that building in the background, and this front is new, but there was just the garage. And you see this all in the movie. The truck's right there. Mahoney is right there. And Leslie Barbara standing right here. That's where it all takes place. Now, even in the scene, you actually see in the middle of the road, they have these wooden crates where the officers can take cover on. That's right in the middle of the street there. So that's the building there. The wooden crates are right there in the middle of the street where they're taking cover. And this whole area is used all the way up to here, to this corner. And then, like I said, this building is seen, that building is seen, all in the background. Right here is, of course, where they had the wooden crates. And the shooter is right up there on that building. This many years later and the building still stands. Yeah, everything's been redone, but to see the actual building, it's pretty neat. It's all right here. Alrighty guys, what do you think of that? That's kind of neat, right? To see the Police Academy filming sites this many years later, and to check out filming sites that I haven't seen anybody else film before, I thought was pretty neat. Now it's absolutely beautiful here in Toronto. We're gonna go enjoy the day, but I always like to say life is like a book, and I want to read it with you. Hit that like and subscribe button. We will go on more adventures together. And yeah, I'm out of here. Let's go get food.